Alright, so I have to stay home with my son today, so I'll be teaching you the lesson on here. By now you should have already completed the bell ringer on the document that tells you what you're supposed to do today. Hopefully you're able to figure out how to insert the equations with the powers. If nothing else for that part, you can just write it on a piece of paper and then take a picture on your Chromebook and then insert it into the document. Okay? But today we're talking about multiplying polynomials as well as factoring. So they go hand in hand, it's just one is opposite of the other. Okay, now this first example here, it basically just looks like the distributive property, but it's incorporating more variables and powers, which will apply the things that we talked about in chapter 7. Okay? First thing that I would probably do for this one, because I think it makes it easier, is I would put the one that I'm distributing on the left, because sometimes people make mistakes when it's on the right and they go in the wrong order. Here it doesn't matter as much because it's addition, but at the same time we talked about yesterday that everything that we do in this chapter should be written in standard form, so decreasing powers. So I would go ahead and flip it right away. So that would give me 2b times b plus 11, and you literally just distribute. So 2b times b, well, the b's are the same, and both their exponents are 1, so that becomes 2b squared, and then 2b times 11 is 22b. So the final answer there is 2b squared plus 22b. Let's look at another complicated example. Okay. But kind of the same rules apply here. To sum it up, you multiply the numbers and add the exponents. So for this one, the first one here, negative 8 times 7 is negative 56. It's y to the third plus y to the 3 plus 2 gives us y to the fifth. For the next one then, it's negative 8 times negative 4, which becomes positive 32. And then it's 3 plus 1 more for y to the fourth. And then lastly, it's just negative 8 times negative 1, which becomes positive 8, and then y to the third remains because there's no power attached to that. So then your final answer is negative 56 y to the fifth plus 32y to the fourth plus 8y to the third. Hopefully multiplying, that was enough of a review because we've done all those things before. It's just kind of putting them together. So we've done distributing, we've done multiplying with exponents and whatnot. Now, like I said, you're just kind of putting it all together. Okay, so hopefully, alright, so now we're going to move to factoring. To start, we're just going to have a discussion quick about the greatest common factor, aka the GCF. Okay, so you basically do this in two parts. Start by looking at the numbers. So the numbers here are 8 and 18. So you're trying to figure out what is the biggest number that is a factor of both 8 and 18. Well, factors of 8 are 8 and 1 and 4 and 2. 8 isn't a factor of 18, 4 isn't a factor of 18, so the greatest common factor for the number part of it is 2. For the variable part of it, it basically, as long as every term, and there's two terms here, as long as both terms have a variable, it's basically just the variable with the smallest power. So here it would be 2w would be the greatest common factor. Okay? And I think that will make a little bit more sense too when we move to the next part where we're actually factoring. Okay, over here our numbers are 14, 42, and 21. Well, the greatest number that is a factor of all three of those is 7. For the variables, they all have a variable. That one's the fourth power, that one's the third power, that's the second power. So, as I mentioned, as long as they all have a variable, it's the smallest one. So the greatest common factor here would be 7z to the second power. Okay, that's kind of the start of finding the greatest common factor. Just so you can see all types, let's look at a couple more. So here it's 6w to the third power minus 14w. So factors of 6 are 6 and 1 and 3 and 2. None of those are a factor of 14 except for 2, so the greatest common factor here would be 2w, because they both have a variable, and the regular w is the smallest. Moving to this one for our numbers, 9, 30, 24. The greatest common factor of all those is 3. And now for our variables, this one has one, and this one has one, but this one doesn't have one. So if not all of them have one, then you can't factor out, or you can't have a greatest common factor with a variable. So here the greatest common factor is just 3. If not every term has a variable, then your greatest common factor will just be a number. Okay, so that is finding the greatest common factor. So what we're going to do next is we're going to find the greatest common factor and then also finish the problem so that when we distribute, if we were to distribute it, it would take us back to the original problem. Okay, so we've kind of come full circle here. We'll look at about 4 examples of these. Hopefully that's enough for that. Alright, so here's our first example. Notice it asks you to factor it out completely. So factoring means figure it all out, so if you were to distribute, you'd get back to the original problem. So our numbers are -6, -18, and -12. Because they're all negatives, our greatest common factor number will also be a negative, and it happens to be 6. So we can factor out a -6. This one has a variable, this one has a variable, and this one has a variable. So as long as they all have a variable, it's the smallest one. So it would be x to the second power. So that is the greatest common factor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a parentheses, and inside the parentheses we need whatever would be multiplied with our -6x squared to take us back to the original problem. Well, -6 times 1 would take us to -6. We don't really need the 1, but you could put it there. But x to the second power, there's 2 here, we need a total of 4, so we would need 2 there. Because -6x squared times x squared would take us back to -6x to the fourth power. Okay? It would be plus, because this negative and times a positive will take us to negative. Well, 6 times 3 will take us to the 18, or -6 times 3 to -18. There are 2 x's, a power of 2 on our x on the outside. We need a power of 3, so that means it would just be 1 more. And then -6x to the second power times 3x gives us -18x to the third power. Lastly, -6 times 2, and once again it'll be plus because it's negative on the outside. -6 times 2 gives us our -12, and then there's already an x squared there, so the x squared would remain there. So that would be our final answer. Okay? Now just to prove it to you, and I don't know if the worksheet asks you to check it or not, but you always can, and I think it's a great practice to do so. To check it, all you do is multiply it, aka distribute. So here is my answer, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So -6x squared times x squared is -6x to the fourth, and -6x squared times 3x gives us -18x to the third, and lastly -6x squared times 2 gives us -12x to the second power, and this one matches up with that one, so I know I have the correct answer. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, in this one doesn't have a regular number, so it doesn't really matter if the other ones do or don't. If not every single term has a number, then we can't factor out a number. However, every term does have a variable, and then our smallest one is just a regular g, so g is all that we can factor out here. So what we need to take times g to get back to g to the fourth power would be g to the third power. Because there's 1 on the outside, 3 on the inside makes our total of 4. Then it would be plus 24, because there is no number on the outside. There's 1 on the outside, need a total of 3, so 2 would go on the inside. So g to the second power takes us back to our g to the third. Then it would be plus 12g, because there's 1 on the outside, 1 on the inside to get us to our 2, and then plus 4, because the g is already on the outside. Just to show you one more check here. Okay, so when I distribute to all of these here, g times g to the third is g to the fourth power. G times 24g squared is 24g to the third power. G times 12g is 12g squared. And g times 4 is 4g. And that does take us back to our original problem, so I know I did it correctly. Okay, hopefully that's making good sense. We're going to look at 2 more to kind of solidify. This one's a little bit smaller, which is kind of nice. So for 18, the factors are 18 and 1 and 9 and 2. Now currently, I'm not sure if 18 is a factor of 54, but I do know that 9 is a factor of both 18 and 54. So I'm going to start with that, and I think you'll see whether that is the biggest one or if there's one more we could have done. So there's kind of some trial and error in this as well, so I want you to see that. Now they don't both have a variable, so I'm thinking I can only factor out 9. Okay? Well, 9 times 2s squared will take us back to the 18s squared, and 9 times 6 gives us 54. Now, I'm looking at this and I see a 2 and I see a 6, and both of those numbers could be our multiples or factors of 2, so that means 18 does go into 54. So I didn't factor it completely. So I'm going to start again. So it is 18, and 18 times s to the second power takes us to 18s to the second power. And then if it was 9 times 6, half of 6 is 3, so it must be 18 times 3, so this would be plus 3. And it would be helpful to check it as well, so here's my 18 times 3. 3 times 8 is 24, carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 more is 54. So 18 times 3 does give us 54. And so I just wanted you to see those. Sometimes you might factor it out, and if all of your terms on the inside still share a number factor or a variable factor, then you just should start fresh because you didn't factor it out completely. Alright, one last one, a pretty basic one here. Our factors of this one, so our numbers are 12 and 9. The greatest common factor there, I believe, is 3. This one has a variable, doesn't, so it's just 3. 3 times 4